Lift off.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Trade Stock. I'm your host, Justin White, and this is weekly update number 42 coming at you from Bandon Dune, Oregon. Bandon Dunes, I think is how they pronounce that. Anyway, we're out here golfing, and I wanted to jump on, as we always do every Friday, give you guys an update. We have some huge announcements today. We received 4 Voyagers this week, so that's going to just be a big topic of discussion today. If you guys have been following the journey, you know that the delivery of these 4 robotic mowers is really a pivotal point in our trajectory as a company, and I think the industry as a whole. Before we get to that, I have some other quick updates. First off, today's episode is powered by Crest Outdoor Commercial Power Equipment. As you guys know, we went all Crest January 1st, 2025, and it's been an absolute game changer for us. The next step in our trajectory and our rollout of this robotic and electric fleet is exactly that. It's robotics. So we're going to talk about that. And if you guys haven't checked out Crest yet, go to jwhitegroup.com/Crest, and you can read our entire journey of how we rolled out this electric platform and sign up for a demo. If you're interested in demoing that Voyager, you're interested in demoing more equipment, you can fill out a quick form. And our guy, Drew Etling on my team will be in touch with you to get you directly connected with the Crest team. The other update I want to let you guys know is we have our water summit coming up on June 12th. June 12th, we're going to have our 5th annual water summit here on the Central Coast, beautiful Santa Cruz at the Boardwalk Coconut Grove. You can go to our Instagram, just type in K&D Landscaping. It'll come right up. And we have a link in bio. You can sign up and grab your tickets to that. Definitely one that you don't want to miss. Now, I'd like to bring on to our weekly update a guest, as I normally don't do, but I thought with this week's developments at K&D, I had to bring on our boy, Sean. Sean, welcome to the weekly update, brother.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So Sean runs our technology and innovation department at K&D, a brand new department, really started January 1st officially, Sean. You're a team of 1 today in this department. But man, I want to start. We have a huge thing to talk about. We got the Voyagers in, at least the first round of them. Before we get to the Voyagers, I want to talk a little bit about AI because you're so deep in the mud in this thing and studying and learning every day. What are a few things from a global perspective that landscapers need to know about artificial intelligence today?
Big question, Justin. There's a lot to do. Yeah, so I think the idea that AI is just something you're prompting and interacting with when you need it is kind of shifting to the wayside a little bit. We're doing so much internally over here with building out apps, building out different roadmaps, applications, anything you can think of in terms of what will move the business forward. The entire team has jumped into Claude and is really using some more specific applications for their jobs. So we're starting to see a lot of developments in terms of that. So just globally, like the back office is really changing in terms of how AI is being used and how we're automating all of our processes. So I think that if you were to be 5 years ago and look into what we're doing right now in terms of AI, it's bananas. I think the implications will just get bigger and better throughout this year specifically.
Yeah. I'm seeing the same thing, and we talk about it on the weekly update every week. People are staying up to date as much as I can, but I can't help but feel myself personally like I'm falling behind if I take a few days off. I'm on this golf trip up here in Oregon. I'm kind of disconnected a bit, which is probably healthy. But it's like I checked my Instagram last night and I followed a couple of people talk about AI and specifically Claude. And now Perplexity came out with this new computer. And then it seems like every week there's something new. And I feel like every week people are feeling, man, I'm now that much further behind. What's some things that we can do to just kind of stay up to date with what's going on? And how much should we worry about falling behind right now?
Yeah, you're super far behind, Justin. Don't worry about it. Everybody is, man, and that's kind of how the game works for this. There is so much going on. There's so much going on in the industry, right? And not just the landscaping industry, the tech industry as a whole. I've talked to some folks that are in incubators in Palo Alto and they feel behind. So it's not. I think it's kind of a global feeling, just because there's so many new developments every day, every week. I spend my morning driving into work. I'm listening to different AI podcasts. They'll generally have some pretty high level folks from Anthropic, OpenAI. They'll bring on some engineers that kind of dial in that process. So that's kind of my morning ritual on the way in, is to try and absorb anything new that may have come in that day or that week on AI. But it's kind of, it's, you have to kind of pick and choose your battles. It's really similar to how I'm talking to landscapers about managing their tech stack. Really is like, you got to kind of eat the elephant one bite at a time. So pick something that you might be able to find some value in and really dive deep on it. Listen to podcasts, read some books on it, do some internet research on specific tools. So once you find that specific tool, like I gotten really deep into Claude lately, I started
Yeah.
stepping into Complexity Computer a little bit, and it's really about understanding the direction you want to go with it, and then using the software, using the LLMs, kind of getting nitty gritty on the settings and customizations that you can get out of it. And then you can start to unlock some stuff down the line. But really, it's about picking one direction and kind of going with that direction as best as you can for now. There's just so much going on in the space that it's really hard to, you can't, there's no way to keep track of everything.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, is like pick one thing and go kind of deep in that, and also find a lens you can look through to ask yourself, does this get me closer to X? So
Mhm.
what is your profit per X, or what is, profit per labor hour? Does this get us closer to higher profit per labor hour? If you're a landscaper, that's probably one of your key performance metrics. One of our lens that we look through, and if you watch our Instagram on K&D, you'll hear this in the Voyager rollout video. Does this get us closer to $100,000 minimum annual salary for our team? And so
Yeah.
when I'm thinking about AI and I'm looking at it, I'm asking myself, does this help me become a CEO that has a company that has a minimum wage of $100,000? And I think most of the things that I find, if I'm being completely honest, are not moving us closer to that, but they're
Yeah.
fun. And so, like, you can have a bit of a hobby if you enjoy doing this kind of shit, which I think, you and I at least do. And I think a lot of people
Yeah.
that listen to this kind of enjoy it too. But then you have to have like the professional application of those hobbies, or that excitement. If you're really into something, whether it's golf or something else, like, it doesn't mean you should go golfing every day with clients and justify that as you're moving closer to $100,000 minimum wage. But it's the same thing with AI. If you can find an AI tool that's going to move you closer to your goal, whether it's a monetary goal, it's a growth goal, it's a new region goal, whatever your goal is, right? Pick a goal for quarter two. We're going into quarter two next week. Pick a goal for quarter two and find AI and create an AI stack that gets you towards that goal, that moves you directly towards your ideal state. And so if we can do that, we'll feel a lot more in charge. I think you make a good point. Like, you don't have to know everything to be doing good things with AI. So, all right, enough of AI. We can talk all day about this. This is supposed to be a quick update. I want to talk about the Voyagers, dude. So, what happened yesterday at K&D?
It was nuts. It felt kind of like Christmas a little bit. It was wild. I mean, we had four big crates come in, and that was exciting. And just like there were huge boxes. I got some of the team to help me unbox everything, and it was kind of cool to just watch everybody get to experience what it felt like to just unbox some pretty crazy technology. So yeah, it was pretty amazing, the feeling of not only unboxing these crazy tools, but kind of seeing the future value of them as well. Like, I mean, I needed to. I had to line them up in front of the trucks and get some pretty cool pictures with the K&D trucks in the background and all that. It just felt like a big moment, you know?
Yeah, I saw Drew out there, and Omar, and everybody was pretty psyched. I
Yeah.
definitely was FOMO. I'm out here on like a bucket list golf trip, and I'm seeing this. I'm like, God, I missed it, but I'm excited to get home and come check everything out. So, as we talk about the Voyagers, a lot of excitement around this. I mean, I personally don't know. I'm sure there are people around there. I know there's people in the UK. I don't know anyone who's gotten like a 4 Voyager delivery yet. I'm sure they're out there, but this is going to be a big test. So, what is the rollout plan? I think that's what a lot of people are asking. It's like, well, okay, cool, you got them, guys. Like, I know you're fucking excited, but like, how are we going to get these things into production and actually mowing lawns that we're getting paid to mow?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some internal conversations about that on our side too, the right way to roll them out and making sure that we get efficiencies out of them. I mean, the first batch is going to go down to San Luis Obispo for us. As you know, as you're well aware, we have a big, beautiful property down there that we're working on, and we just started. And that was one of the value propositions, is that we can start to get some of those labor hours back, put them into the property to define details, and essentially Andy also did a really great job putting together a mow map through Claude. It's interactive, and the guys can pop in and figure out where they need to drop Voyagers off. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring 3 down there and get that site mapped. And each one of those crews will have a Voyager alongside them. They'll drop it off on one street, let it rock and roll while they're focused on doing the detail work. So it can sit with the crew. And if you have an on-site crew at a large property, that's one great way to do it. Another idea that we're tossing around is really just doing kind of milk runs, right? Like if we have one guy with 3 or 4 on a trailer, he can pop over to a site, drop it off on a site, let it start doing its thing, head to the next site, drop the next one off, and kind of do a big circle and start picking them up as they're done, which really kind of opens up the idea of creating specific autonomous mow crews and allowing that operator to be a robotics expert in a sense, so he can start interacting with the product, you know?
Wow. So you're seeing new roles be created, right? Because we don't have like a robotics engineer, a robotics mapping specialist. But as we go from 4 to 8 to 12 to 100 Voyagers over the next, I don't know. I don't want to say too much about our roadmap publicly. I'll share that when it's finalized, guys. I promise that you guys know I'm an open book here. But as we go to dozens of autonomous mowers in our fleet and being rolled out, what are some of those roles that you see being created? And do you see the best persons to be in those roles, the people that are currently maybe like mowing the lawns today, because they understand how and what needs to happen, what a good mowed lawn looks like?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's the right angle to approach it with, is the guys in the field know the properties. The guys in the field understand what it takes to mow a lawn. They can look at a lawn and figure out the deck height. They can do all of that stuff. Bringing in an engineer, they might be locked in on the robotics side, but we would have to train them on the landscaping side, right? And there's value in having that knowledge. So I really think the opportunity for folks in the field that want to kind of make another change in their career path, maybe take a step up, get some robotics certifications through us. We'll build out a little course in terms of a knowledge base and work on getting them some certifications that they can throw down and say, hey, I'm a robotics expert. I managed some autonomous mowers and was able to kind of work through a pretty large process with K&D, right? So I think the idea and the unlock of having somebody shift roles and understand that they have room to grow, that gets us towards $100,000 minimum wage, because these guys are picking
Oh
up
yeah.
new processes and new things they can provide for us and for the community as a whole,
100%. And I want to a bit double tap on that, because so I'm hearing a lot of chatter of dealers and other people charging to onboard autonomous mowers, whether it be a Voyager or another type of mower, where they're going to come in, train your crew, and it's pretty expensive. Like it's really expensive, at least some of the numbers I'm hearing. So one of the thoughts I had was, based on your experience, Sean, I mean, these things are not just like plug and play. They do require a certain amount of onboarding and mapping and understanding what's going on. And I think that's going to be a huge potential revenue perspective for a lot of dealers as they lose the gas sales and they lose the repair. And I'm seeing this like dealer shift happen. I think Richard and the guys at Gardenland, the team over there, are definitely on the front edge of this. But a lot of other dealers are playing catch up, and I worry that the contractor is going to be stuck in the middle paying this like ridiculous fee. So one of the thoughts I had, and I'm a little bit, we're kind of like brainstorming here, in public, but like, do you feel over the next month we can document what we do, document how we roll things out, document what we learn in April with our content creation team, and then in May we take those lessons, we take those video contents, we take what you and I and the team understand, and then we go and we publish that inside the disruptors. That gives everyone in the disruptors this like very competitive advantage, because they don't have to go and pay a dealer all these fees. They can just go watch the course. Do you think you can watch a course and consume something online and then put it into play in the real world.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it really comes down to the energy and effort you put into that content creation, right? I think the training and development is its own special beast occasionally, and it's
Well,
hard to kind of,
that's your background in a lot of ways,
yeah,
for
totally.
those who
Yeah.
don't
And
know.
it's a challenge, and it's been a lifelong challenge for me, is really trying to define and understand the right way to educate. And I think that through recording things correctly, through walking people start to finish throughout the process, I think there's definitely a way to not only give them some insight on whether this is something they even want to try and tackle for their business in this moment, but this is kind of my little preach, but it'll give them time back. We've spent a lot of time with Cress and the Voyager, and done some kind of nitty gritty stuff, and I've been out in the field doing the trials and tribulations, trying to like troubleshoot things and make sure it actually works for specific properties. And by going through that and then sharing my experience and getting it down on video and through any sort of like learning management system, um, I think that will give people time back. And that's really the most valuable asset in the industry that I can see, is that it's invaluable. If we can give them that time back, they don't have to go through all of the troubleshooting and kind of go through the trials and tribulations. I think it's totally doable, and I'm stoked to give it to the community.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think what we are going to ultimately build there is just going to give everyone a huge advantage around deploying robotic mowers, because, like, let's face it, we are going through and learning all these things the hard way, and making the mistakes and figuring out, okay, the path to travel doesn't actually work here, but now it works because we've been able to figure out some coding issues. And I'll be honest, and this is where I really give Crest a lot of credit, is, this thing is definitely shippable, and it's a product that's ready for market, but it also still has some bugs and things that we're working out day to day. And I think it's important to say that and be honest about that. And Crest is honest about that. But it's not like you go and map a property, push a button, and you never do anything again. Like, there are issues that come up every day. And that is like the price you pay for being a disruptor, for being on the leading edge, for being the tip of the spear, is sometimes you got to take that headwind directly on, and like, some days are good and some days, push you back a few steps, but
Yeah.
we're always making positive progress forward. And that's ultimately what it is. And I want to give you your flowers, Sean, and say congratulations, because I just saw the NALP article yesterday that you collaborated on with Heartland and
Yeah.
and the NALP, and it was a great article. You mentioned about people buying back their time and getting technology to give them time back, and ultimately it's like, stuff is supposed to serve us. So I think
Yeah.
the mission you're on and where we're headed, man, it's really exciting. So thanks for coming on today and sharing a bit of your insights.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that's been another weekly update here on Trade Stock. If you guys are not subscribed to the Disruptor Advantage, it's a monthly newsletter that I do every single month. Go to jwhitegroup.com and it'll pop right up. You'll be able to sign up for that. And if you have any questions or anything else, reach out to either myself, or if you have questions for Sean, hit Sean up on LinkedIn. He's on there all the time. You guys definitely should follow him and watch what he's posting, because he's putting out some good content. And if you want to ask him any questions or anything, shoot him a message on LinkedIn. And of course, if you're in the Disruptors, he's in the Disruptors too. You can just DM him through the app. But other than that, Sean, closing last words. What's the future look like for the next 3 months, man?
Busy. It's the future for the next 3 months is really it's focused on structured management of applications and making sure the team is 100% locked in on what the future looks like, and the future is bright for us. So I'm feeling good.
Let's go. All right. Sounds good, man. Thank you for coming on. And you guys, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for tuning in to Trades Talk, where the next generation of disruptors comes to raise the bar. If you got value from today's episode, share it with someone in the trades who's ready to level up. For more tools, insights, and community, follow host Justin White and join the movement at jwhitegroup.com.